Why, hello there, people. This is another one of our beautiful SUSOST interviews. You're right. Stand up, stand out to stand together. Today we have the absolutely lovely, beautiful, wonderful singer, songwriter, guitarist Cori Strell on the line. How are you doing today, Cori?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you. How about yourself?
Absolutely lovely. As you know, right now we got Corey coming in live from NY. You're right, the Big Apple. I'm representing LBC. Graciously extended her time here in the late hours. And as we've established, but as we'll put forward once again, these interviews kind of serve as a little entryway for the consumers, for the individual artists themselves to get to know each other a little bit better on a project, which, as we know, has a bunch of different peeps wanting to kind of give them a little bit more space to share themselves. So, without further ado, we'll get into it. Corey, my first question I have to you, probably basic and probably something you've been asked many a times. So, feel free to answer it at whatever level you do desire. But what is it that initially got you into music or into doing art or what you do?
Oh, I have to start with the cliche that my dad always said was that or my mom always said, both of them, that I was singing in the crib.
Mm,
And that my
mm.
dad would, as a newborn, like play all these like wind up animals while I was in the crib and make all this noise. And my mother was shocked, but my dad is very musical and he instilled that in me. Um,
Wow.
he's also a musician himself, and my parents are very encouraging of this expression. I could say more about the teens to the 20s, but I
Mhm.
think it started early. And one time, my mom sat me down and drew on a piece of paper a little pie chart and said, "There's this many people in the world." And then she made a quarter chart, and she's like, "This many can sing." And then she made a little eighth
Mm,
in the quarter and
mm.
said, "You're in this part."
Wow, that's very cool. Okay, so you got that direct inspiration and motivation from your parents. You said your father's a musician. What does he do? What does he play?
He plays harmonica. He's a songwriter. He sings and plays guitar. Yeah.
Oh, damn, that's badass. That's badass. And where did he play around? Was there a place that he grew up or was locally bound, or did he play all over?
Um, I think he started in New York, but he moved out to San Diego and raised me there. And he didn't start playing in bluegrass bands till maybe 10 years ago. So much later in his life.
Okay. Well, no, that's awesome. And how long yourself then? I mean, I guess to the singing point, you could say pretty much as long as you've been alive, but how long yourself have you been playing guitar or fiddling around with instruments as well?
I guess there's a common theme. I got a guitar one holiday season, and I think I was 11.
Hmm.
Got guitar lessons, got some singing lessons, got some piano lessons before that, but that didn't stick. So since I was
Okay.
11, and I've had the same guitar since, and I'm 25 now.
Oh, that's badass. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So you really grown with that thing. And like, what are some of like the first memories you have of like wanting to learn guitar or like the first songs you learned or like a moment that you got super stoked like along your
Mm,
instruction process?
mm. Um, yeah, it definitely tells that I was 11, but I was really inspired by Taylor Swift,
Oh
and I
yeah,
wanted
don't
to
be
be like
afraid to
her.
say it.
Yeah, yeah. I think I remember coming in from playing one day, so maybe I was 10, and I was like, saw my dad playing, or I saw the guitar in the living room, and I was like, "Can you teach me to play this?" And
Mhm,
taught
mhm.
me G and C maybe, and then I got a guitar later that year. Um, yeah, but all those early pop artists really influenced me. I really wanted to be like Michelle Branch, who had a
Okay.
song, and she looked super young, and I was like, I could be that.
I could do this. No, those initial idols, very, very inspirational to that way we approach the art. Do you remember too, like the first time you performed? Like, was there a shift from where it was kind of more of a private with family thing to public, or were you always kind of like doing it openly, or was there like a first performance you had or something?
Mm. I think there's an early one. I think there's a photo of me as a little child, like holding a mic on a street performer. My parents would like go to little like Encinitas street fairs in San Diego, and so there's some early evidence of me
Okay.
being overly confident. But I think it took till I entered. I think I took guitar lessons and I entered a talent show and played. Well, I guess I was singing. I sang. What did I sing? I sang The Rose. I can't recall who it's by, but it's a very
Mm-hmm.
old song that I was told my grandfather really liked. It's called The Rose. And so I started doing talent shows, I guess, in maybe I was 12 and 13, once a year.
Okay. Okay. No, that's really cool. And to kind of just like I guess go not full circle, but to catch, myself as well as the listeners up to where you are now, how did your artistic musical relationship as somewhat of kind of an instantaneous from the jump passion develop into and how did it mature through the teens, the high school, as well as through the college and now up to present times?
I think talent shows turned into open mics, which was like my first taste of some freedom. And I was required to play an original song at E Street Cafe in Encinitas, which was a very cool spot that isn't there anymore. Um, and so I wrote my first song when I was like 15, and then
Okay.
my in love for the first time, and wrote that song. And
Yeah.
yeah, and I went from yeah, I still do open mics, I suppose, sometimes.
No, that's cool. And so, like, tell me, I know you've recorded and released somewhat of an EP. Has tell me more about that process when you
Yeah,
from
you
like
know, I take it
perform. Yeah.
back. I don't play open mics anymore. So I played open mics and then I started busking, which would look like playing wherever I wanted, wherever I wanted, for whoever I wanted, and that was really rewarding. And that turned into a few little things, opening or whatever, live. And I recorded an EP with Joskin Depress in what's it studio called in La Mesa, California, when I was 18, which feels like a different person than who
Hmm.
I am
Hmm.
today.
So long ago.
I am not really a recording musician. It's something I do really want to get into, but I want to make sure I do it intentionally. And so since then, it's just been more of me playing live. Whoever will book me, I suppose, or wherever it feels right.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Uh, and then bringing that to the track, the album, and the song that we've collaborated upon this. Like, tell me, what was it like entering an atmosphere such as we recorded Santa Cruz recording studios under Peter, the man
Mm.
himself, Bearsley Productions. Shout out to the
Oh, yeah.
people over there in mid North Cal. But so then tell me too, like not necessarily being a recording artist, either at heart or by nature or by practice, what was it like contributing to the track that we have? We'll do a little spoil the name here, Price of Education. And then
Mm.
obviously we've collaborated within the past as well,
Hmm.
and uh, Art of Wind track that was
Hmm.
a single and then featured on the Infinity project of mine 2019. Also something I was
Hmm.
personally super happy of and proud of. But I remember talking and discussing at that time. It was definitely a new experience and a new way of relating to the art for you. And so curious to just have you kind of expand upon that in whatever direction. What's it like kind of featuring on projects or being asked to collaborate on things which maybe you haven't written initially and yet then play this midway and collaboration role upon between and within.
Hmm. Hmm. I am brought back to that day working with Peter and you in the Santa Cruz studio. And I think I might have been on a 15-minute work break down the street. And I
Uh-huh.
popped up, you invited me in. And I was so happy to be there. And I got to work with you two lovely humans, and it felt really natural. I really liked working with Peter, and I really thought, I'd see him again. I really liked the way he
Yeah.
directed my voice. I'd never felt so comfortable in a recording booth. Um, but unfortunately, we weren't living in the same cities anymore after doing Quadroon and the Goons, so that was more rare. Um, but I remember, getting to use my um, improvise. I was improvising,
Yes.
improvising skills in the booth, which was really fulfilling. And you can only do when I feel safe and, accepted and supported, which I felt in that 15-minute work break. Maybe it was 30 minutes. I'll give it that. An Hour? You
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
know?
I think I would like to give you the benefit of the doubt and say you came in, banged it out in 15 minutes. But my thought is it was probably a little more like a 30 minimum to an hour. But regardless, yeah, it wasn't much time. It was short notice. I remember seeing you perform Porter kind of open mic slash whatever that Porter
Mhm.
quad performances were. First time saw you did a little uke. And I was like, yo, this
Mhm.
is dope. This is dank. You're fire. We talked a little bit afterwards. I was rocking with the Goons at the time and then was like, working on stuff and definitely needing and wanting to link up with singers to push and establish that vocal medium that really I just couldn't reach tonally at all. And so it happened somewhat spontaneously, but as things do so smoothly and natural at the
Mhm.
time, it seemed nothing but thumbs up. I remember we had a little writing sash and uh then came to you and it was nothing but smooth. But bringing it to you, you also mentioned like you rocked with we shared time in it's hard to almost call it a band, but the legendary Goons themselves, the collective.
Mm.
I'm curious to also get your 2 cents upon that. What was it like being a part of a band and what was your band experience like, as well as and why I have hesitancy to even call them a band, some kind of crew or collection of instrumentalists, vocalists, active in performing all around Santa Cruz, and yet with a strange means of implementing improvisation into every element, as well as not really and intentionally not really establishing a firm boundary of the audience versus the performer in any given place that we did so. But I'm curious to just hear you speak on that slightly because that is an important part of your musical journey and especially our connection.
Mm. Uh, for sure. Working with the Goons was my first time. I mean, I would say playing with the band, but I see how it is more of a collective.
Yeah, we could
Definitely
call it
a
a band.
cherished memory.
Yeah.
That was an incredible year. It was my year post college, pre COVID quarantine, and a lot happened in those
Mhm.
months from like
Mhm.
summer to the end of winter. And we put on some good jams and weekly rehearsals, and I really had to pretend like I knew what I was doing
Yeah.
and be confident with improvising lyrics with new faces. And it was definitely challenging, and it was strange to work without instruction, and to
Yeah.
never receive feedback. And it was like everything is kind of just as it is. And that was almost difficult to work with, but so, I don't know, expansive.
Yeah. Yeah. Unique. No doubt. No doubt. Yeah, that's beautiful. Um, with all this being said, I guess kind of the final thing I would want to offer you before giving you a little time to just, speak and plug yourself is where do you envision Cori Strell music, Cori Strell as
Mm,
a musician, a performer? We can only think so far down the line in such a incredibly transformative time where it seems like every month is not only coming faster and faster, but so much more is changing within the day to day. But I guess we'll pick with almost 3 years. Where do you see yourself headed within a relative 3 year trajectory, or just the future itself with your music and with your passion, as well as
Mm.
with juggling, becoming, a full, capable, and able, willing adult?
Mm. I see myself in Brooklyn, New York, which is where I've been for the past year, and really diving in deeper into the music scene here. I've seen it from the outside. I've been an observer of these really beautiful, intimate spaces of 20 something year olds playing mix match bands and adapting their styles versus like depending on the environment. And sometimes it's happening in a secret loft show, sometimes it's happening in an intimate venue, sometimes it's happening in a backyard jam. And I really want to be a part of that. I want to be a part of the scene of friends and musicians. And I see myself recording my best songs, and I really want it to be on a vinyl record, which I've been told is maybe expensive to start out, but I really see myself being on vinyl and that living as like a piece of art. Um, I see myself playing with more musicians also,
Yeah.
keyboardists, maybe violin,
Yes.
drums, bass. I really hope that is in the cards for me, and I really want it to be with friends, and to just continue to do it for the joy of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's incredible. And kind of piggybacking off that, I mean, what what has it been like? What is it like? What do you anticipate it like to be a part of? I mean, what does community mean to you in terms of music? Is it a way of bringing people together, or meeting people, satisfying people, entertaining people? Is it a little beyond that, or in
Mm,
context of the project, where we're in my intention, trying to just bring together all the people I've worked with, because I thought it would be
mm,
so dope. I've learned in that, how music and community are almost one and the same. It's almost weird to say, to split them into two separate things, but I'm curious to have you speak upon that. I mean, what does music mean for you in terms of translating your emotions, your experience as an individual, your whole existential crisis of being, to yourself as well as to the people around you, whether those be actual audience members at a performance, or just family members or loved ones or close friends, or acquaintances within the day to day.
that's a profound question that almost speaks for itself.
Mm.
Um, what do I think of? I think of potential of community and bringing people up with you. There are downsides, and it only brings for more opportunities. I really envision this project being in person someday, and all these people are together and um, celebrating and playing music. I see it in I see community in these jams I've been putting on, with my friends, um, setting up an open mic and um, you know sharing our music and then improvising together and showcasing each other, one another.
Yeah, that's awesome. Absolutely. Corey, before I let you go here, I do want to give you an opportunity beyond just saying thank you, and thank you for the contributions, as well as this conversation itself. Super stoked to see how the project, the song matures, the response, etc. I'd love to just give you a moment where, if you have anything that you're working on, or you have upcoming shows, or people you want to shout out, or songs or links, or whatever they may be, I'll include all the link details to your personals and accounts in the description below. But in addition to that, if there's something that you'd love to share with anyone who may be listening, I'd love to give that opportunity to you.
Hmm. That's a lot to uh, consider. I feel like it's always changing what I want to share. I guess what's consistent is my name is Cori Strell, and that'll always be my name. So I'm Cori Strell on YouTube and Spotify and Instagram, Cori Strell Music. And that is my brand as of now because I couldn't come up with a better brand than my own first and last name. Um, but I'm thinking I am neglecting another aspect of my music, which is I like to sing about love, and I also like to sing about
Just not to cut you off, but
about.
we're losing your audio slightly too. I don't know if you have a little bit of a better service location, but do you continue?
I don't know what I could do to fix it, but I'm
Okay,
completely
this is that's
mesmerized
okay.
by the
Yeah.
thunderstorm outside my window right now, and there's lightning and thunder happening. I don't know if that's affecting anything. I've also got like two candles like flickering in the windowsill, and it's just completely a vibe.
Yeah, that's a total
I hope
vibe.
you can hear me.
I hear
I've
you
also
better
heard
now.
you come on my ear and on my left ear. I hope this um, doesn't sound others, but um,
But you're saying you sing about love.
I sing about love. I wasn't going to talk about love. I don't know how to talk about love. I was going to talk about life also.
Yeah.
Um, it's difficult to talk about also life, but I have some environmentally motivated songs that I do want to expand on because I am very passionate about like living a intentional life where I am not wasteful and I am resourceful. And I have a song called Get Up, Get Out, which is about beach cleanups, which is a um, one example of more music with a positive message I want to release um, this coming month, which I don't know where that exists in the ether of this song, this recording being released, but I'm playing
Yeah.
at EcoFest and I'm playing a song called Brand New Key, which is like an homage to a Melanie song from the 70s, and it's adapted to talk about neutrality and sustainability. And I like to sing Talking About a Revolution from Tracy Chapman. I don't know how to say this without it sounding corny or contrived, but part of my music is from my heart and about love. And part of it, I think, is using the mic to share a message about how we must care for our planet. And it is a challenge that I grapple with and doing that in like an authentic way, but it is something I want to
Mm.
continue to hold onto as an inspiration for music. Because I love, as much as I love people, I really love this life and this planet.
I think that's some beautiful words of wisdom and raw expression of yourself, and to all those who may be listening. But a good standard for us to all hold ourselves to in that greater concept or thing, to lack of a better word, that we all deal with as artists. To what extent do we utilize the outlet, the platform, the basis to tackle and challenge and say and declare certain positions for certain things we believe in? And to what extent is it that, as quote unquote the word love encapsulates, is it just that raw expression slash letting, releasing, allowing, and capturing of whatever that moment of suffering or joy comes to be. This all being said, Cori, an absolutely incredible time that I've had here being able to discuss with you, ask you some questions, and honestly learn a lot of things which I didn't know prior to this conversation. Been blessed to
Hmm.
know you for, I want to say, almost 4 to 5 years now when I like really think about it.
Hmm.
It's funny to start tracking and begin saying with the different acquaintances. But it's always super dope, and I've had mad respect for you as an artist and obviously a human, and so really glad to have you a part of this and give you a little stage to speak and allow me to dive a little bit deeper into the whys and the whats of your musical artistic expression that is. So once again, thank you so much. We shall leave it here, and I do wish you the best on your travels tonight, as well as out in the world of that good old BKNY, baby. Oh yes, I can straight smell it. I can feel it. Oh man. But absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much, Corey.
Oh, my pleasure, Cameron.
Absolutely. And once again, we got the SUSOST, stand up, stand out, stand together, interview, conclusion, many more to come, some artist roster material, as well as potentially some beat and lyrical breakdowns as well on the rise. I appreciate you all for this ride. Let's keep it pumping.